Hey everyone, so glad you're here today. Get ready, sit back, relax, because things are about to get real. Let's dive right in. Can't decide how to break it to my wife. New throwaway account. I 31. Male have found out that my wife, 31, has been cheating on me for some time now. I have solid evidence of this. Photos, text messages, and call logs. My wife doesn't know that I know she's been having an affair, all while she has no clue that I've reached out to a lawyer and have my preliminary meeting next week, as I have zero clue how to begin navigating this situation. The process, division of assets, custody arrangements, etc. Some background. We've been married for 8 beautiful years, though sadly in the past few months the relationship has been going sour. We have had discussions about the declining state of our marriage and certain things we were both unhappy with or would like to see improved. I suggested marriage counseling, though we've both been really busy with work, and we agreed to pursue counseling in a few months. Fast forward a few sexless months, and I find out that my wife has been cheating on me with a friend of ours. Let's call him Leo. Leo is also married to my wife's friend Elena. The hardest part of all this is pretending I don't know and that things are okay. We have 2 truly beautiful children, 6 male and 3 female. I have too much self-respect to stay in it for the kids, and I genuinely don't believe this marriage is repairable. I worry so much about them and what is to come, and that's been the main reason I've been hesitating to pull the trigger. Despite all the anger and resentment I have, and as bad as I want to get up in her face and scream and kick my ex-friend Leo in the mouth and balls, I am staying calm and level-headed, keeping my emotions at bay for the sake of a smooth divorce for my kids. Despite all this, my wife and I have dinner plans with Leo and Elena in a few weeks to celebrate Christmas. From the texts I have, Elena is completely clueless about Leo and has no idea what's going on right in front of her. She is still madly in love with Leo and showing all this affection as he is pulling away. My wife's parents, my in-laws, are going to watch the kids so we can go out for dinner. My options for blowing this up are as follows. While we're at home with my in-laws getting ready to leave for dinner, say something like, "I'm worried this dinner might be a tad awkward with you cheating on me with Leo." As we arrive at dinner, make a snarky comment like, "I hope this dinner won't be too awkward with you 2 cheating on us." Do nothing. Proceed with a lawyer. No drama, just serve her with papers. So Reddit, what are your thoughts? Is a dramatic blow-up worth it in your experience? As much as I want to do, deep down my gut is saying, control yourself. Don't do this. Your time will eventually come. Edit, update. I made this post less than 24 hours ago, and honestly, I did not expect it to gain so much traction. Thank you to everyone who has commented, shown support, given solid advice, as well as those who want to watch the world burn and shared some fantasy scenarios of how to blow this up with my wife, Leo, and Elena. I appreciate all of you. Deep down, I was using this more to vent, as I know taking the calm and civil approach is the way to go, but I needed to indulge these dramatic fantasies to keep myself in check. I have my preliminary consultation with my lawyer this week. In the meantime, I'll keep reading and educating myself on divorce and state-specific nuances, start exercising, and most importantly, continue being a great dad for my beautiful kids. I won't leave you all in the dark as I enjoy juicy Reddit updates as much as the next person. That said, I need to be smart and not compromise myself online. I'll post updates when the time is right. Now for some top comments. First off, I'm so sorry. Something like this happened to my partner 10 years ago. He reacted in exactly the opposite way I would have. The Leo in your story was his childhood friend, and he didn't even tell Elena. He simply let his ex and Leo know that he had found out, decisively moved forward on divorce with his ex because it was clear she was done and had no interest in working through it. He was still willing to try. And it was Leo who wound up repeatedly calling him and harassing him because he was afraid my partner would tell his wife. I have nothing but respect for my partner's calmness and equanimity in this horror show. What made all the difference, I think, was that they had a 2-year-old daughter at the time, and his foremost priority was maintaining a good relationship with his ex as co-parents, even if they didn't stay together for his daughter's sake, and this he succeeded at despite years of feeling resentment and betrayal. His ex isn't our friend, but we see her often because of their daughter. We are civil and kind, and so is she. For the sake of your children, I don't think you should blow it up. You are absolutely entitled to feel all the feels, but she will always be your co-parent, long into the future, when you have both moved on with your lives, and you need to model maturity and reasonableness for your children's sake. There is no need to pretend you don't know and that things are okay. Just sit her down and tell her that there is no going back, so she can be prepared, and both of you can focus on what's best for your kids post-marriage. I also say this as the child of parents who hated each other and whose mom had an affair. It was horrible. Next comment. Did the other wife ever find out? Good on you, husband, for staying calm, but I think his Elena deserved to know. OP replied, thanks for sharing this perspective. Deep down, I know this is the way to approach things. My rational, logical part of my brain and emotions are constantly at odds with one another, and I really needed to hear someone else push for the calmer high road approach, rather than scorched earth vengeance. My kids are the priority, and from the texts I do have, my wife is concerned too. The two of them want to be together, but she is fearful of pulling the trigger herself, because she so deeply values time with our kids. Heck, even in the good times she's said once, promise me if we ever split, we'll be good co-parents. After reading divorce horror stories on Reddit. As much as I can fault her for being a crappy wife, I can't at all fault her for being a bad mom. OP edits. I agree there is no need to pretend. For me, it's just that I've never been in a situation like this before, and I want to discuss with a lawyer before having the discussion with her. I just need to... I think I do owe it to Elena to inform her of what's going on in a one-on-one setting and not a group setting. She deserves so much better than she is getting. Second edit. I agree that there is no need to pretend. Given that I've never navigated this situation before, I really want the opinion of someone who sees this day in, day out. There's a good chance we can resolve this quite amicably, especially with her being driven by love of the kids and guilt for the situation she's dragging them into. For my own mental sanity and comfort, I need to hear a lawyer's thoughts before I can proceed. Last comment. She's not a good mother. A good mother, first of all, must think that her children are too young and they will suffer after a divorce. She's a selfish woman, like all the cheaters. And now for the update. TLDR. I should have listened to my gut as well as to you all. A few days ago, I found out that my wife has been maintaining contact with Leo this entire time. The affair is longer and more intense than she initially admitted to. I told her I want a divorce. Recap of prior posts. I discovered my wife has been having an affair with a friend, Leo, who is married to Elena. I decided to not have a dramatic blow-up, and instead confronted my wife at home very politely and tried to discuss things. We had a long discussion about what we could do to fix things. She assured me that she broke off contact with Leo and that we should pursue couples counseling. Her words felt extremely genuine and sincere. I truly got the impression she realized what is at stake here and smartened up about it. That said, reflecting back on that confrontation discussion, there were red flags. She denied everything. Even as I told her specifics of the affair, such as a specific date, time, and location her and Leo met up, she was denying it, saying I'm wrong. She only admitted when I told her I saw messages on her phone. While denying, she kept obsessing over how I found out and consistently tried pushing the conversation in that direction. Towards the end, I did tell her it was a mix of seeing messages on her phone and iMac. She told me the classic, "I was going to tell you soon" line. In texts I read, my soon-to-be ex and Leo did discuss telling Elena and I, so there is some sincerity to this. Though when I asked what was her plan in the meantime, i.e. break it off with Leo or keep seeing him, she had no real answer. Since my last update, We had our counseling session. I've done personal therapy in the past, so the format for couples therapy is actually quite similar. I won't discuss why, though I left that session feeling optimistic that things could be repaired. At this point, I was not aware she was maintaining contact with Leo. Since confronting her initially, she has doubled down on the secrecy. I mentioned I revealed to her what I saw from messages on her iMac and iPhone. The password to both devices was changed soon after that. At one point, I approached her and said, "Hey, I changed the password on my phone, but as a show of good faith, I will change it back." She responded, "It's okay if we don't have access to each other's devices." Two huge red flags right here. Obviously, I was incredibly suspicious she was maintaining contact with Leo at this point. To make a long story short, I was able to get a moment with her phone and guess the new passcode. I discovered she was in fact still maintaining contact with Leo, and she was being way sneakier about it than I thought. I reached out to my best friend, who is incredibly tech-savvy. He told me how I can extract the full chat history. For context, my friend went through a divorce last year, where he had to secretly get messages from his wife's phone to defend some claims against him. I haven't read the full chat history, as it really is that long, well over 100,000 messages, and I don't know if I ever will, though here is what I discovered. This alternate chat method was actually their primary way of communicating. The entire affair is much longer and more intense than my wife admitted to me, with plots, fantasies about the two of them starting a new life together. Whether Leo would be a good stepdad to my kids, and a whole bunch of really cringeworthy crap. There are certain intimate details of my marriage that Leo mentions to my wife, trying to persuade her to pick him over me. Details that no decent spouse should ever reveal to anyone else. Not only have they been shared, but also weaponized. That to me is unforgivable. Messages that are time-stamped to our confrontation. A couple times my wife paused because work was messaging her, highly plausible, but turns out she was texting Leo a play-by-play of my confrontation. Messages from moments after the confrontation and the day after, where they are both freaking out that I know. What I may do with that info. Leo is panicking. I may tell Elena. They are reaffirming their love for each other, and my wife is saying she'd always pick Leo over me. Super dramatic like teenagers, but also really cringy. Messages after our counseling session talking about how the session was so awful that she has zero intention of following through on any of the suggestions from the therapist, etc. That for me was truly heartbreaking to read, given how optimistic I felt after that session. Asking for divorce. A few days back, I asked my soon-to-be ex for a divorce. I told her I know she's maintaining contact, and to my surprise, she didn't deny it and completely owned it. We agreed that we want to resolve things as friendly as possible because lawyers are expensive as hell, and we're going to need as much money as we can to move our separate ways. In the days since, we've been too busy with work to really dive into specifics, but our initial discussions have been very amicable, and it seems like we are on the same page with almost everything. Lastly, in the days since asking for divorce, she's asked me if I would reconsider giving things another try. That we could give it a real try this time for the kids' sake. That she's so nervous and scared about destroying the family and losing such an incredible husband, etc. I told her, sorry, no. It took everything in me to give her that second chance, and that I was really ready to give things a final try. But at this point, knowing she's still maintaining contact, it's clear she's made her choice, and I simply don't have it in me. I'm totally gutted that my marriage is ending. However, I am incredibly proud that I will always be able to look my kids in the eye and know that even though their lives are about to get torn apart, I did everything I possibly could to protect them from that. I feel stupid for even giving things a second chance, but I'm proud that I mustered up the courage to call it quits for real this time. Asking for a divorce was the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. I needed to regain my self-respect and also send the message that I will not be walked on and that actions have consequences. She can't have her cake and eat it too. Do you agree with how things played out? Thanks so much for tuning in to the Cheater Meter. Your support means everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next wild story. Until next time, stay real, stay strong, and remember, the truth always comes out. See you soon.